Hey everybody, welcome back. David Eon on the Stunning Miss Lady Pop Hunter here with a discussion, having another discussion, something that we were talking about before, as we are aficionados, if you will, of vintage television programming.
Yeah.
And one of those things in vintage television programming that I guess often is overlooked while people are mesmerized by old shows. You know, they want to reminisce about or rewatch MASH or Knight Rider, or A-Team,
or even the commercials.
Yeah, even commercials are a big deal now because the modern commercials are such trash. I mean, it's all medications and medications. A lot of ads for meds. It's ridiculous.
And
or
junk food.
Auto insurance.
Insurance.
Tons. And modern commercials is a lot of foul language now. It's starting to creep in.
Yeah, I was seeing one today, and it was a toothpaste, and it's actually a brand I like because it is a charcoal toothpaste. And the girl was brushing her teeth, and then of course she had to say it because a foul language, a bad word, because her teeth were so white. And I'm like,
and sometimes it's bleeped and sometimes it's not.
It was bleeped, but still it's just the fact that they do it.
The first one I caught was the Ore-Ida commercial with the pay and play or something like that. Or potato pay, that's what it was. And they flat out cussed in the original commercials, but then they alter it to a bleep. I know that's not what we were discussing.
And then they got the one with the organic eggs, and I won't buy those eggs.
Oh, that's right. They cuss. Yeah, they do.
All throughout the commercial. So that eggs I won't buy. They got the one with the razor.
Shave Club.
Dollar shave
Club. Something like that. They do that now.
But anyway, that's not what we're here for.
One of the things that has been very prominent in television that we all grew up with was game shows.
Yeah, and we watch vintage game shows.
And I know that a lot of people, they're fun. Some of them are really, really fun, like the match game. The match game is nuts.
The match game is funny.
Yeah.
What's the one with the little guy that runs across and takes all your money?
Oh, God.
I cannot think of it now. The whammy.
The whammy, yeah.
Whatever that one is. The whammy with the whammy. That one is fun. But we watch them all because you can pull them up on YouTube. And they'll show you the full length of the game show.
And some of them have the original commercials still in them.
Some of them do.
And people will make the argument. They're like, oh, well, you're from a different era. So modern game shows, it's for a modern audience. Well, I mean, to counter that, we can watch game shows that go all the way back to the 50s and still be entertained by them.
Yeah.
We didn't grow up in the 50s or 60s, and I've got one foot in the 70s, but it ain't that deep in it. But they're still fun and entertaining. But the modern game shows, they feel so phony to me.
Yeah.
That I swear they're not really game shows. I think everybody on it's an actor. And not even a good one.
Yeah. And you get that feeling. I got that feeling with Let's Make a Deal. I love Let's Make a Deal.
Monty Hall? Oh, yeah. The original Let's Make a Deal is hilarious.
But then they came back out with it with Wayne Brady. I think Wayne Brady. I think it's Wayne Brady. I know it's Wayne.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, they're bringing back Let's Make a Deal. I love that show. Let me watch it. And I'm watching it. And the contestants are just so...
animated.
Not just animated, but if you watch the original Let's Make It, those people are freaking out. They jumping, and Monty got to be like, stand still.
Oh, let me take a step back before someone steps on my foot here, because people, oh, shoot.
But you can see the nervousness in them and the excitement. But you watch the newer shows, they're just calm, cool, and I'm so glad to be here. Like he says, animated.
Yeah, a lot of big arm movements and loud, and trying to make clever quips and things.
Yeah.
And it feels scripted.
It does, because normal people don't act that way. And another one I love is Supermarket Sweep. I love Supermarket Sweep. They came back out with that. So I'm like, I'm going to watch it just to see if it's how different it is from the original. Again, the people were so scripted that it was like, are these actual people that you met on the streets?
Yeah, are they actual hand-picked contestants? Because you remember the original, for those of you who are familiar with Supermarket Sweep, or if you're not, everybody, as they filled into the studio audience, they would get a product, and everybody had something different, something from the supermarket, a box of cereal, whatever. And the announcer, they would pick 3 of those items at random, and whoever had those 3 items, that's your contestants, and they'd come down. So it's totally randomized how they would pull people down from the audience. Well, not the original Supermarket Sweep, but that's a different story.
Oh, the original one was crazy.
One's really crazy. But that's how the one that everybody's kind of familiar with. There's not too many surviving episodes of the original version when they would travel. They would travel
to the grocery store,
a supermarket, and I think they did a parody of that on Laverne and Shirley.
I don't know,
because they had a supermarket race in their local market, and I think that was a take on Supermarket Sweep when you get to keep the food and stuff, because it was a real supermarket. But then they made a dedicated studio set market. But
yeah, you didn't keep the food, because in the original you got to keep the food.
I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, actually.
Yeah, but the thing that and to understand what we're talking about, if you don't get it, pull up on YouTube just vintage game shows and watch a couple of episodes of the various ones. And then if it has a modern, like Supermarket Sweep has a modern version, even Wheel of Fortune, that might still be kind of, I haven't seen Wheel of Fortune.
The original Wheel of Fortune's really weird.
Yeah. Supermarket Sweep, Let's Make a Deal. You know, find some that has a modern counterpart, and then watch both of them. Watch the original.
Price is Right.
Price is Right.
They still use the same games.
The same format,
but
just about.
It doesn't feel the same
at all. The feeling is so different. It doesn't feel genuine. Like when you watch the original, those people feel like they're housewives. They're just people that's working every day, and they're in town for the show, because they're asking, where are you from? Oh, you came all the way here for the show. Yeah, we traveled from wherever to be on the show. And their reaction feels genuine. It feels like regular, normal people.
Because they would give away tickets to fill the seats, basically. And if you watch the old Let's Make a Deal, he's got like 1,000 people in that audience. It is packed.
Yeah.
It is packed. And then everybody got a number. And so they would pan all over with the searchlights, and they'd be like, so-and-so, come on down. And then the person would jump up, and the searchlight would find them, and the camera would follow them down to the stage.
No, that's Price is Right.
I said Price is
Right.
Right.
You said Let's Make a Deal.
Oh, okay. No, I'm sorry. I got them mixed up.
Price is Right.
Yeah, Price is Right. Price is Right was nuts.
Yeah.
And you watch the modern Price is Right with Drew Carey. He's got, what, 20 people in the audience?
Well, after COVID,
I know. COVID, it got really weird.
They did stretch everything out.
But it hasn't gone back.
No.
They haven't changed it back to the packed audience that they used to have. And that takes a lot away from it as well.
Yeah.
You know, not seeing a massive audience of just random people who got tickets for the day or walked in off the street on a studio tour.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that nostalgic feeling is just dead, because game shows have a really long history going all the way back to the radio era.
And it's fun to watch those shows if you watch them. And because I like trivia shows like that, and just to listen to the trivia and then see the prizes. Sometimes the prizes are just ridiculous.
Well,
the type of prizes.
The concept of the old game shows, if you ever wondered about that, where they have, you know, you're winning, you're like, who wants that? They wanted to give people, the average person, access to luxury items that they otherwise could not normally afford.
Yeah.
That was the allure of the game show prizes.
Yeah, but then when you open up the door and then you get a box of ravioli.
You're on Let's Make a Deal again. Well,
no, that's concentration. You open up.
Concentration was nuts. Oh, with the because you have to put the puzzle together, the rubric.
Yeah.
And you match the numbers, and when you match the numbers, you match a prize. and the prizes sometimes on the original one with Jack Narr.
Yeah.
The earlier one with Jack Narr, I should say, because then
Alex
Trebek did the second version,
and he had
in
better
the 80s.
prizes.
Yeah, he did have better prizes. But
Jack Narr, you got
Jack
a box
Narr.
of rice-a-roni.
You got a case of rice-a-roni, and you get like a case of shoe polish.
Yeah, some
It's
glue.
just crazy stuff. Yeah.
And it's like, who the heck wants some glue?
Cake a month for a year.
Yeah.
Stuff. I'll take a cake a month for a year though. But they had a car. They did have a car you could win, but it was always the same car. And they never changed the car. But it was still fun, and it was crazy. And then some of the rubric puzzles, that of course that's a pictorial puzzle where you have to basically the original emojis. You had to look at the images and form a sentence out of it or name, person, place, or thing. And then sometimes the rubrics, it was right on the cuff. It was a fine line between it making any sense at all, and then Jack Narr would be like, well, you've got to kind of roll it together.
Yeah.
I know that one doesn't quite... Okay, we're just going to leave
He's going to roll it together.
He knew it was bullshit. he knew that puzzle didn't make any sense, and somebody lost a car, poor soul.
Yeah.
But they don't feel like that anymore. And,
no, they don't.
And man, they're loud.
And that's
They're
the one
so
thing
loud.
about the new Let's Make a Deal.
Yeah.
They had the guy on the piano or the keyboard, so he had to be introduced.
Right.
And he played the keyboard the whole time.
Incidental music in the background was just this guy.
Yeah, but it was loud.
Yeah.
And if you watch the original, you have some music off and on. But when Monty was talking, there was no music.
Yeah.
Because you didn't need it.
Now it's constant.
Now it's constant. Now it's loud.
Music and the lights. I mean, okay, I don't mind some lighting, but flickering, like, let me have an epileptic seizure, lights going constantly and shining on you and stuff.
Yeah, and
it's
the
like,
bright
dude.
colors. I guess the bright colors are all right.
It's not so bad. Because some of the 80s ones with the, like, Miami Vice neons and stuff wasn't so bad. But, you could say that was tacky for the time, looking back on it.
Yeah. But I do miss the original game shows. So... pull it up on YouTube and just type in vintage game shows. And then we see game shows we never even knew were out there. We never heard of before. So it introduced you to different stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that they had so many game shows. Now, I don't think it's as many.
It was a huge, big deal culturally, but that was lost. Just like when the transition happened, and that started with the onset of cable television. Yeah. Cable television was there in the 80s, but close to transitioning from the 80s into the 90s, cable television became larger than network television, but they couldn't fill the slots. Then the late night show wars happened because Johnny Carson retired. Johnny Carson, they called him the king of late night. If you watched game or talk shows from that era, he was. And when he left, all the dignity left with it. And if you compare a modern talk show to what talk shows looked like when Johnny was there. When he left, they all went nuts. A whole bunch of them popped up everywhere. Yeah. And they did a lot of sensationalism to try to draw an audience. And they never turned back from that.
Well, now it's all political.
Like we talked about before, they kept setting the bar lower instead of higher. Same thing we see with shows like South Park. Keep setting the bar lower to draw people in instead of higher. So between that and cable television needing to fill a lot of slots, that's how you ended up with reality shows. Yeah. And that's how you ended up with infomercials. And the reality shows were just cheaper. Game shows are expensive. Yeah. They're expensive to run, and it killed a lot of game shows.
They still had a few, because USA had a bunch of... USA Network had a bunch, and even Lifetime had a few. But it wasn't as much as the earlier ones, because all of the major networks had game shows.
And they fill up the whole morning with it right up until soap operas started.
Yeah, until the noonday news, just about. because you had like the 11:30
11
in
to
the
12.
morning news or 12, whatever. And then it would come back on at night, like 6:30, 7 o'clock, because that's when where we were, Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy came on at 7 and 7:30.
Yeah.
So they had nighttime versions of game shows.
Yeah, again, before the news, before the nightly or the afternoon news, 5 o'clock
Yeah.
news, and then after that, your primetime shows would start rolling in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So between the downfall of the late night talk show wars and then the transition of reality shows just being a more inexpensive alternative to filling time slots, because even though a lot of vintage shows you could say they're kind of cheesy, they're still better quality than most of what you're seeing now.
I'd rather watch a vintage show any day than that modern garbage.
Yeah, and the thing is, because you only really had 3 networks, so, and they made fun of that actually on Seinfeld. If you remember the episode of Seinfeld, guys, where he's pitching to the network, and the network, George kept screwing it up, and the guy from the network was like, hey, take it or leave it, because there's 100 other guys in line waiting for a shot at even just the pilot. That's how it was. You had to crawl to get a spot, beg, borrow, and steal. Then suddenly, instead of 3 networks, you get 300, and any piece of crap they could fit into the time slots, they'll take it. That's how you ended up with infomercials. That's how you ended up with things like QVC selling stuff nonstop.
Well, infomercials and QVC's been around.
Yeah, I know, but not to the extent of like we need to have an entire network dedicated to it, or like 20 channels filled with the stuff. Then people get tired of that too, and then you got your reality shows start creeping in.
Yeah.
Oh, this is really cheap. We don't even really need a script. You need a plot line. You do this, you pretend to act like this, and make it up as you go, and we'll film it.
Yeah.
And because the reality shows aren't real. I mean, most people I think know that by now. They're pretty much a load of crap. But those reality shows killed a lot of those game shows. It was just a cheaper alternative.
I guess, but again, I'd rather watch the game show and
I'd rather watch the older ones.
Yeah, and you can still find it on YouTube. If you just type in vintage game shows, you'll have playlist after playlist of just hundreds of vintage game shows that are out there, and they're good and they're entertaining and they're wholesome. And that's another thing that it's been lost. You watch some of these, they always got to throw politics in there. We were watching one episode of the new Supermarket Sweep. They're getting on you about voting and who to vote for.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I want to watch y'all run around the grocery store.
The grocery store, that's the whole point.
Getting groceries.
Because Supermarket Sweep is like dead simple. It is like, it was dead simple. It was real easy trivia questions. It's goofy.
Yeah.
They literally run around a supermarket with a shopping cart.
Yeah, filling it up, seeing who can get the most.
Yeah,
dollar-wise.
The silliness of that is fun. Or Monty picking on people.
Yeah.
Let's make a deal, zonking people. People think they're going to get a car, they end up with a baby carriage. It's or like I said, the match game. The match game kills me. That game is hilarious because you got your like B-list celebrities. See, back then they had A and B list. Now we go all the way down to D, E, F, and G.
Yeah.
But they have their B-list celebrity panel of judges who are supposed to try to match the guests. But if you look at any of those vintage shows and compare them to the modern ones, I challenge you. I believe you'll think that the vintage ones are much more interesting.
Yeah.
Or even the old ones, just because of how weird they are. The pilot episodes, the early episodes of you mentioned Wheel of Fortune, where you have like 4 housewives sitting in easy chairs in what looks like a big living room, with the wheel that they would bring out on a platform.
Yeah,
it was weird. And then or when they would have to buy the stuff, they'd earn the cash, but the cash had to be used to purchase things from off the selling floor.
Yeah, you had to purchase it right then.
Yeah. It's like, maybe I don't want to buy this stuff.
You're gonna buy it.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, but those days are gone.
Yeah, those days are gone. The modern game shows, just can't get into them, guys. They're too loud. They're too flashy. They feel phony. They feel phony with the super animated hosts. No
Yeah.
dignity with the hosts either. Although I'm not too familiar with how Drew Carey's doing Let's Make a Deal.
He's not
But,
doing Let's Make a Deal. He's doing Price is Right.
Price is Right. I keep saying Let's Make a Deal. But yeah, he's on the Price is Right, and I'm not sure how he conducts himself on it. But a lot of
He's
these
not
others,
loud and flashy. I've
Okay.
seen a couple of episodes because
Some-
we used to watch it. Used to watch it at the center.
Okay.
And he's pretty calm and tame, similar to Bob Barker.
Okay.
And but you know, that one hasn't changed too much. But when you watch the other ones, the contestants feel like they're actors, like,
Yeah.
or they come from acting school.
And so, like I said, some of the announcers, even some of the
Yeah.
hosts, feel really animated and over the top, like they're being phony. And it's like, can't you? Where's the dignity? I don't know. I can't tell.
They're paying you all that money. You better do what they want you to do. I guess.
I don't want to act stupid. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. We're all about that nostalgia, folks. Anyways, if you could turn back time.
Yeah.
If you could turn back time.
Cher had a song said if you could turn back time.
Yeah, did she?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No, I remember. But anyways, thoughts, guys? What do you think about all that? Are you into the vintage game shows? Have you thought about that for a long time? Do you watch any of the modern ones? Or have you made a comparison? Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments section down below. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you get where we're coming from. Share it if you can, all of that. And if that's it, then what more can we say? But thanks for watching, and we will see you again soon.